gals, and welcome to the return of the Infinite Universe podcast. And what a year it's been. Seriously, it kind of feels like that bleak 5-year period in between the Thanos snapshot and when you rejoin Cap's Survivor group. Grim, man. Heavy and dark has been this year, yes? That was a terrible Yoda, but I tried. Well, we've come to brighten you up with a new hope and to discuss trending topics and nerd news. I'm your friendly neighborhood DJ, Jay Days. Alongside me, the mensch with the mouth, Ben Pumpkin Claw Metless. What's up, man? How you doing?
What's going on, dude?
Yes,
I'm glad we're doing this again.
Finally, right?
Yeah.
Well, as 2020 rolls on, we're starting to actually get some good content out there and many things to look forward to. I know for myself this year during quarantine, my life has been nothing but video games and TV binging. And recently, one of our favorite shows has returned for season 2. We're talking about Mandalorian on Disney+. Ben, how do you like it so far?
So, I'm loving it.
It's awesome, right?
I absolutely love it, especially the newest episode. So at the beginning, I know we discussed this, but we didn't discuss this on the podcast. At the beginning of the quarantine, a month before, I started watching Clone Wars.
Yep.
Now, I've already watched Rebels, but Clone Wars got really good, thank God, right after I was furloughed. And I seriously spent a week and a half just binge watching all of it. And to see them incorporate and tie together Rebels, Clone Wars, and The Mandalorian, it just, I shrieked like a little girl on the train when Bo-Katan came out for the first time and looked exactly like she did in the animated
All right,
version.
so let me stop you there because I'm one who wasn't on the Rebels or Clone Wars bandwagon at first. You were the one who actually convinced me to go back and start watching these. And you told me to start with, what was it, the animated movie? What was that one called?
The Clone Wars animated movie.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just the Clone Wars.
What was the Clone Wars animated one called? Oh, the Clone Wars animated one. Oh, duh.
Yeah,
anyway,
it was just called the Clone Wars.
So it was pretty cool. I mean, the one thing that I had to get over was basically how bad the graphics were for the time. The animation was like real cheap and real boxy, I thought. But the storyline was really cool. And you like hooked me in because you told me it was kind of a continuation of what the prequels were about, right?
Yes, it takes place in between the Attack of the Clones and... Technically, it ends in episode 3.
Yeah, so I was like asleep on this whole storyline. But anyway, I went back because what else am I going to do during a quarantine, a pandemic, is binge watch TV. So actually, I watched that movie, that animated, and then I watched all of season 1 of the Clone Wars. And I fell in love, man. It was an awesome show. It was really entertaining. The storyline,
the clones.
Yeah, the storyline was so good, I thought. And it actually cleared up all the questions and confusion I had with any of the previous, episodes 1, 2, and 3, because there were so many like plot holes I thought in those movies where this filled in so much of it. So although I didn't watch all of the Clone Wars animated, I watched just season 1 and then a few select episodes in between, especially because you told me how it ended and how I had to watch it. But I was really excited to learn about the clones and then also some of these other characters that I guess we're going to be getting this season now, and one in which we did, and talk about this because I don't really know who she was. What is she, basically a female Boba Fett?
No.
Is that what people say?
It goes into deep history of the Mandalorian.
So they have like religious sectors, kind of?
They have houses, kind of like different houses and families that are of higher station. Now, her sister was basically the Empress of Mandalore during the Clone Wars. But then there was a sect of Mandalorians who...
All right, let me stop you there for the non-Star Wars uber geeks. So basically the Mandalore are a group of, like a race of people.
It was a planet of people.
A planet of people.
Yeah, it was a planet of people.
And within that, there are different, I guess... Houses or, sections, fractions,
and she
whatever.
Was a different... Well, her family was a different house. Now, she belonged to... a house that had the owl as its insignia, and that's why on her mask you saw she has an owl. Now, at one point, there's a group of Mandalores who don't agree with the way the government was approaching things and wanted Mandalore to be a force of power in the galaxy. and they were Death Watch, and they started becoming a terrorist group against the rest of Mandalore. And her sect joined Death Watch. But then Death Watch was taken over by Darth Maul at one point.
So is this all explained in the animated?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. But it also explains, because you remember at the end of season 1 of The Mandalorian, Moff Gideon comes out of the crashed
with the Darksaber, right?
With
that
the Darksaber.
awesome.
She should be holding the Darksaber. Because in Rebels, she is actually given the Darksaber, and whoever holds the Darksaber rules Mandalore.
So are we to assume that this guy took it from her?
That's actually what I found interesting when they finally involved her, because there's a big gap between the end of Rebels, which happens about a year or two before New Hope, and now. So there's 7 years in between her getting the Darksaber from Sabine Wren from the House of Wren in Rebels and now.
So hang on, I'm trying to follow you here. So this is the after that portion, something happens where she doesn't have that anymore, and he's something that happens most likely.
Do you remember in Rogue One when what's her name was going through the files to find the Death Star plans?
Yes.
On that tropical planet. Yeah. She says Darksaber at one point, right before she finds Stardust. So in my mind, actually,
Easter egg.
That point, it's interesting to think that maybe they either knew about the Darksaber and they were looking for it, and that's why the plans were on the or maybe they even stole that file from the Jedi Temple after the Jedi fell, because technically the Darksaber was made by the first Jedi Mandalorian.
All right.
And
well, that is a lot.
It's interesting to think they go through all
I
that.
hope no one else is as confused as I am. But I do know that the episode where they introduced her was freaking awesome.
Oh my God.
The episode in Mandalorian.
To see 4 Mandalorians just take down an entire
The whole episode
freighter.
was just so much fun, I thought.
Yeah.
It was a cool chase. I know some people's complaints is that each episode is kind of like the same plot almost. Like, he has to do something for someone in order to get information, and then someone has to watch the child. So that's kind of funny to me. But I thought the action scenes were really dope, and I love how it leads into stuff, and they give you those teasers, and then of course there's other characters that we're going to be introduced to, and then one name that was mentioned.
You mentioned Ahsoka Tano,
which, for me, who watched all of season 1 and then random episodes of the Clone Wars in between, she's one of Star Wars characters ever. And in the storyline, little badass chick. What's the Cliff's Note version of this? Real quick.
Ahsoka Tano was Anakin Skywalker's apprentice. Well, his Padawan.
Yeah.
And then when she was to become a Jedi, she was accused of murder. And basically, Anakin Skywalker was the one that proved her to be, even though she was kicked out of the Jedi Order and everyone in the Jedi turned on her, Anakin was the only one that proved she was innocent. And when Mace Windu and Yoda approached her about, these were your trials, we want to make you a Jedi, she turned her back and said, no, it kind of ruined it for her, which then pushed Anakin deeper into the dark side.
Yeah. So she has great character development.
She's one of the best developed characters.
The story of the Clone Wars animated. But one of the things that I liked about the animated, to jump back to that, was just how you saw all the things that happened to Anakin that turned him to the dark side little by little. And then also those same events are the things that shape Ahsoka into the warrior Jedi. What is she, a master at some point?
she's
or she gets kicked out.
She's nothing.
I don't even know. So she's just a rebel, essentially.
I guess, like in Star Wars, you could call her a gray Jedi. Someone who doesn't practice the Jedi.
She's basically, an outcast. So in this lore, she's basically an outcast of the Jedi, but a badass. And we're going to be seeing her any episode now in
Rosaria Dawson.
Oh, snap. She's so hot. I love her. Damn, she's in all my favorite things. All the Marvel stuff.
I think that was the best casting choice Disney has ever made.
Nice. All right, so we got that coming up.
There are theories that it's going to go tap into some of Rogue One, because I've read an interesting Reddit post that possibly Ahsoka Tano trained the blind guy from Rogue One.
Oh, cool.
That he learned a lot of his moves from her. And that maybe she has a connection to Jyn Erso also.
So is Ahsoka going to have a big role in this series, you think?
I'm hoping so. I mean, it's fan theory, so no one really knows anything. If Disney was smart, they would include her in a big role. Because a big problem I feel with some of the prequels, and that the end of the Clone Wars fixed, was that Ahsoka should have had a bigger part in Revenge of the Sith. Now, the last 4 episodes, as we saw, which could be counted as episode 2.5, she was involved and was probably one of the best series finale I've ever seen, where she kind of has to run and escape Order 66.
Nice. And that's the other thing that kind of becomes a little bit more clear with the Clone Wars animated, was what the hell happened in the Clone Wars movie where all the Jedis are getting shot. Remember that scene where they're getting like blasted in the middle of the woods or whatever?
Assassinated.
But some other new characters that we're getting in this, or maybe not new, but a return of a character in Mandalorian. Finally, we get some Boba Fett, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel like I've been waiting decades for them to just acknowledge that he's alive.
And they just teased it, but it was definitely cool. It was enough. And I guess he's getting a spinoff.
I heard they're filming it right now. It'd be cool.
It would be really cool if the spinoff is like all the events of him getting out of that Sarlacc pit into meeting up with the Mando and what I'm assuming he's going to do in this series. Or that all in between time. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like seeing
filling
him
the gap between Return of the Jedi and now.
Yeah. Otherwise, I guess we're just gonna watch this dude try to get his armor back.
The question is that I have about Boba Fett, because in the Clone Wars he's a kid, he's actually a child, and he's a smuggler who he's not good. He's a villain. Is he a good guy in this, or is he a bad guy? Is he pissed that Mando has his armor? Or is he going to try to, is he going to help Bo-Katan in reuniting the houses of the Mandalores and bring peace to the Mandalorian planet? Or is he going to be almost like Darth Maul and be an usurper and take over Mandalore for himself and not care about the heritage? So that's what I'm kind of hoping they explore a little bit more with him.
And how about that Baby Yoda?
So cute. Well, apparently he's responsible for genocide by the PC culture. People are pissed that a made-up character ate up made-up eggs on a made-up television show about a fictional. It's just
you can't make it up, folks.
Do people wake up and think, "Oh, what am I going to be pissed about now?"
Yeah.
My wife's a zookeeper, and she thought it was adorable him eating the eggs.
People online always need something to get mad about. It's pretty funny.
It is.
I do like the memes that are going around for Star Wars. There's one that I saw that was really funny of that episode about Baby Yoda eating the eggs, but it was like an Uber review of that frog, giving a review and saying how horrible the ride was, 0 stars. The guy crashed several times, or a driver crashed several times.
Tried to run from the cops.
Yeah. It was cute. It was funny. So the memes this year, that's one good thing about 2020. The memes have been on point. All right, moving on. Let's talk about the updates. So, speaking of our, debacle of a 2020, all our stuff has been moved back, pushed back, postponed, all of that. So we got a bunch of updates, and we're going to talk about some of them. Unfortunately, the only good movie we had, fortunately, the only movie we had this year, comic book related, ended up being a total dud. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But we did get updates about WandaVision on Disney Plus. So that, unfortunately, we're not even going to get that this year. That sucks.
No, January 15th?
Yeah, I was really looking forward to it. All these trailers that they keep showing got my mind going in wild directions, because I'm like, where are they bringing this story?
It doesn't even make sense though, delaying everything. People are home. We have time to watch this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I binge Cheers. That's how bored I was. I binge watched Cheers.
Could never do that.
Like,
Sorry. But what do you think of this? Are you excited about it?
I'm
Does it look
excited about
cool?
WandaVision.
Do you have any idea where they're going with the story?
I heard every episode is going to be a different era in TV sitcoms. Like, you know, the 50s, like Wally
There was
Beaver,
like an I Love Lucy episode or something.
I Love Lucy. 90s, like Home Improvement, maybe Full House or Roseanne. Like, you know.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's supposed to lead into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
So it's weird, so I'm trying to wrap my head around that though. So if you're saying sitcom, how is it going to tell the story though? You know, like how is that interwoven?
Well, maybe she's altering reality around her, and it's every episode's not interconnected. Maybe like she just kind of created this alternate reality around her, and every episode is a different story that doesn't lead into the next episode.
I mean, there's rumors that she's in Doctor Strange, right?
I heard she might be the villain.
That's what I was about to say. So is it like some weird, I don't know, like what if everything that's going on in this series
isn't actually happening?
Yeah, this is like all going on in her head during a time in the Doctor Strange movie.
Yes.
Where she's like having an outer body experience. I don't know. You get what I'm trying to get at?
No. It's going to be like a cross moment in a part of the movie. I'm
in the
sure
Doctor Strange movie?
I'm sure
that sounds
the last
cool.
episode will probably connect it all somehow where like you'll end the
there's
last
a lot
episode
of House of M
like,
talk, so there's a lot of this, you know, twisting reality. It's all made up in her head and based on, you know, everything that we're saying with the sitcom stuff and, you know, there's not a lot of clear information on what is happening. It kind of seems like this is all fantasy, and having that correlation with Doctor Strange, I'm just trying to think if there's like a moment where what if Doctor Strange has to do something to her and put her in a coma or put her in a coma sort of in her mind, and then that's what's going on in her mind. So she's living out, she's not having this miserable life, she's having this happy life, but in reality she's really in like a coma, and this is the only way to like stop her from destroying the world. Mm-hmm. That could be something cool. I don't know.
No, I'm sure like it'll all make sense on the last final episode.
Fuck, I just got myself really excited thinking of that idea. I mean, it's not necessarily an original idea, but I'm trying to I guess I'm just connecting all these pieces in my head right now that it's sounding really fun to me.
They say that it's all going to be interlocked, and I mean, use these television shows. We know the characters.
But guess what? We got a long while before that comes. Well, not even a long while. I mean, January 15th is now the new date. So I guess something in the new year to look forward to. A few weeks away still, but and then from there, everything else just also got pushed back. Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to be released this summer, but now it doesn't have any release date as of right now. Just basically a vague announcement of 2021. And but what we do know is Baron Zemo is going to be coming back, and I'm wondering if he's going to have the classic purple, which I say is actually magenta because it's kind of pink mask in this one.
The one thing I have to say about Disney is they're good at keeping their movies and televisions under wrap, but their products that they sell for the movies and televisions
giveaway,
always give it away. Like they always release the products way ahead of time.
Yeah, but also no, they've lied about that many times because there was all the theories with the Soul Stone in the Lego set that didn't end up being true, but. You're talking about the bobblehead?
The Baron Zemo bobblehead that was just released. That was in New York City Comic Con. I think it was.
No, but I think they said for a while now he was going to have the classic hood. And then, I have this picture here I have brought up of the what we think might be a leaked picture or whatever. If it is, it looks pretty cool. I'm into it. He kind of looks creepy in it. I was never a big fan of this guy, to be honest, in the comics. But... this whole spy thriller espionage sort of, foundation that they have with the Captain America Winter Soldier stuff fits in great with the Baron Zemo villain.
The actor was really good. So,
I actually enjoyed him a lot. I was never a fan of the character in the comic. But,
was always secondary.
The one good thing that, Disney does a pretty good job of is taking these crappy characters and kind of making them a little bit more fun or a little bit more interesting at least. So I guess we'll see what happens with that. Moving on. Also, Loki. I don't know. 2021. Who knows? Probably 2022 at this point. We really can't predict much of this. But let's talk about some DC news, Ben. Because they've got some really fun, exciting news coming our way even sooner. So that's pretty cool. It seems they're going to be releasing Wonder Woman on Christmas Day now on HBO Max.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in a couple of select movie theaters. I'm sure they're not basing it too much on the movie theaters, but...
And I don't know if this is true. I mean, we got to fact check this, but I think it's not even going to be an extra premium on HBO Max. I think it's just the HBO Max subscription.
Yes.
So it's not one of those things like Disney did with their releases where you have to get the subscription to Disney Plus and then, they'll have an early release where it's like an extra $20 to watch.
$30 or so like they did with Milan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't think it's that. So damn, I mean, I would have paid the 20, honestly.
I mean, if you think about it, it really helps out. It really helps Families. Out HBO because doesn't HBO Max, aren't they owned by the same company that owns Warner Brothers?
Yeah, for sure.
So how many people are going to be getting that free subscription around that time just so they can watch Wonder Woman? And then that bumps their numbers up for the end of the quarter, which will help them out with stock-wise. So no matter what, that means that Wonder Woman will be a win-win.
Yeah. It looks pretty cool to me. At first, I was kind of skeptical. The first one was pretty good. Then I heard they're doing the sequel, and I was like, all right, I don't know if I really need it. Then I'm starting to think, she doesn't really have a lot of cool villains. A lot of her villains are like mythical gods and stuff. Yeah. And then, obviously Cheetah is one of her main villains. But then I was like, how are they going to do this? And then I heard they got Kristen Wiig. And then my interest was piqued. But at the same time, I was like, is this going to work?
I don't know. The teaser looks kind of cool.
But then I started seeing the trailers, exactly. Yeah. And now with the trailers, I'm pretty much in. Especially if they're going to be giving it to me for what, $6.99? Is that how much HBO Max costs?
I think so, or $7.99.
Something like that. I'll take it. Sign me up.
I like Kristen Wiig as a villain because I think that comedians as villains always work out pretty well. You see the dark side in them.
Yeah, when I started to hear the angle that the story's taking with the who is it? Maxwell Lord and this wishing stone, and it fulfills all your hopes and desires. And then I guess Cheetah's wish, or Kristen Wiig's character, is to be an apex predator. But then, so what the stone does is it takes your wish and it gives it this twisted, warped version of it that's not the happy-go-lucky, everything is going to work out version.
It's like a monkey's paw.
So yeah, so exactly. So her apex predator wish literally turns her into
a cheetah,
a fucking cheetah.
Yeah.
So then I was like, all right, this could be really dope. And then they showed the trailer with the little teaser of her, and now I'm like, all right, this is going to be a fun movie. I don't think it's going to be a turd. I don't know it's going to go in the top 3 of my favorite comic book movies, but it looks fun. And at this point, I just need something because it's been such a shit year. Give me content. Give me good shows. Give me
Wonder
good
Woman,
movies.
the first one was great. So I
liked it. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't call it great. I think for the DC movies at the time, it was one of the better
ones. Yeah.
But that's not even saying a lot. And I know a lot of people agree with that. But some other really cool and exciting news that we got is the Snyder Cut, finally.
No, we're not getting the Snyder Cut. We're getting multiple versions Snyder Cut trailers. That's what I'm kind of convinced.
What are we up to right now at this point of the recording in mid-late November?
I think there's been 4 trailers out.
And the latest one was a black and white one, right?
Yeah.
Well, I won't lie. I'm excited about it.
I won't lie. I'll watch it too.
It looks so much better than what the trailers look better than the original movie did. And I'll tell you why. There's a few reasons. One, if you saw, Steppenwolf looks cool now. Like, it's not like this crappy animation that we got in the movie. Two, the storyline actually, like, there looks like such a better plot. It looks like they took more time into going its character development, especially the Cyborg character.
Yeah, Cyborg is apparently really...
All the scenes that I had problems with in the previous version that we got, namely that like end scene where you visit that like random foreign family. I don't even know where they were from. I don't think it was America.
It was during the war.
And then during that where all those weird fly things were flying around, and then Flash saves this random car. I think they got rid of that whole thing.
I think so too.
And they filmed a whole new scene for that. So that was one of my biggest problems of the movie. I thought all of that was crap. But it looks like what was supposed to be a few reshoots is turning into a whole new movie now.
Yeah.
But cool, fuck it. I don't care. We're getting it for free, basically. It's just going to go on HBO Max. And I'm down for it. It's going to be exciting, I think.
This has really proven that fan support and
I can't believe that actually happened.
Yeah,
because enough people bitched online
that they find, and enough people bitched online and like kind of got WB's Warner Brothers attention, and I guess they kind of looked at it and was like, all right, well, Zack Snyder's confirmed he's got enough shoots to like put together a film. I noticed though that like his name is bigger than the name Justice League. Zack, and I feel like this is WB's way of being like, yo, if you fuck this up, this is on you. Your name is above it. Like,
I think it'd be very hard to fuck up, being that everyone hated the other product.
Yeah.
So this is just going to be something that's either going to add to it or like wipe it away.
No one's gonna care.
Yeah, exactly. Or I was gonna say, like people might not. This might be the version people like talk about, moving forward, and not even acknowledge the old one.
It has created a hilarious like kind of meme and social. Like now people are calling for director's cuts of other movies that didn't, like the 6-hour version of Ghostbusters with the women. Like, people are like, where's our 6-hour cut? Like, or other movies, or like Home Alone cut. Like, there's it's kind of funny that now people are like demanding other director's cuts of movies that probably don't even have director's cuts.
Yeah. And I don't even know why we're this excited this early, because it's not even coming out till what? September. Yeah, 2021. So sit back and then let's wait and see with that one.
Which I don't understand. If they have it and it's finished, why do we have to wait till September?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like they're going in and just making more movie.
I feel like they're just going and making more trailers. And that's going to be it. And like, it's going to be a 12-minute trailer of all the trailers put together.
Something else I'm really excited for coming from DC is the new Suicide Squad movie by James Gunn. This looks fucking awesome, right? August 26th, I believe, 2021. The trailer or the teaser, whatever it was, looks like a lot of fun.
So behind the scenes?
Yeah, it was like some behind the scenes thing.
It was like behind the scenes thing?
I like how they have all these different characters, and I know for a fact that they're just going to kill a bunch of them off.
Good.
Finally, it's going to be...
Suicide Squad, that's the name of the crew. They're supposed to die.
Yeah.
I heard Sly Stallone was just cast to be in it.
Yeah, King Shark, apparently.
Stallone's gonna be King Shark?
The voice of King Shark,
Oh, that's
I guess.
awesome.
Well,
okay.
I don't know. That's what people are thinking. I heard that on YouTube somewhere, so let's not quote me on that. But
you are fake news.
I could see that, a big kind of grunt knucklehead shark with the voice of Stallone.
I hope he does an Adrian. Like he's calling for someone and their name is Adrian. Goes, yo, Adrian.
But I like all the random freaking characters they have. Like, what Polka Dot Man? Like, what is his power? What's his ability?
I have no idea. He creates polka dots?
Let's look it up.
A few moments later.
Can turn polka dots covering his costumes into a variety of devices.
All right, we'll see what they do with that. DC has a lot of these, like, random, terrible characters in their catalog. It's kind of nice to see some of them on the big screen, though.
Arm fall off boy. is one of the characters.
Yeah, a bunch of terrible characters, but another terrible character that's also in Suicide Squad that will actually be getting his own spin-off movie is John Cena in The Peacemaker. Basically, he's some douchey Captain America. Never liked John Cena as an actor, hated him as a wrestler, but I think this is the perfect role for him, a douchey Captain America.
Well, if you hate him, then you shouldn't worry about him being in the movie because you won't be able to see him. Come on.
I hate you for that
Come
joke.
on.
I hate you for that joke. I hate you for that. Wow. I'm going to add that in. I'm going to add that in. All right, well, I guess we got the Suicide Squad and John Cena to look forward to. But something that I'm very excited for, and I know you are as well, Batman. Ben, talk about it. What do you like about it?
I'm actually, I know a lot of people were pissed when Robert Pattinson was Pattinson. Yeah, but I think the thing is that's the thing about Batman is that people are going to be pissed no matter who we pick. Everyone has a different idea. Mad. Yeah, but he looks dark in it. And, you know, this is year 2, I think?
Yeah, they're taking this cool dark angle. Yeah, very early in his career. I love the trailer so far. The Riddler is a home run to me.
He's like
I didn't even know
serial killer.
I didn't even know that was the... I had to watch the whole trailer. Then, like, it hit me. I'm like, wait, was that the Riddler? I had to watch it back. And then I'm like, holy shit, that was. Yeah, they're making this very, like, mysterious... No, well, obviously. But they're making this really cool, I don't know, like, serial killer, psychotic...
Like Son of
Zodiac
Sam meets Zodiac,
type, you know, villain out of this guy that we haven't seen before. And it's not this, you know, happy-go-lucky, giggly, wearing tights, swinging a cane dude. It's more sinister. And that I'm super excited for because that in itself, just the mystery of where that's going to lead is perfect. And knowing that there's all these other villains that are going to be leading this story, it's got everything. It seems the direction that it's going in, you know, seems great at first. Yeah, Robert Pattinson, everyone's like, yo, Twilight dude. But now the pieces are coming together and it's looking really, really good.
It's also apparently going to have its own spin-off show too.
Yeah, about Gotham City, the detective department.
It's going to be
like
year 1.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Which is cool because I just got done reading recently Batman Year 1 for the first time.
You did?
And can I tell you, man, it blew me away. Just the content in it was like so mature for a comic book. You know, a lot of times they're written for children. And this one in particular, there was a couple times I'm like, holy crap, I can't believe they're talking about this in a comic, or I didn't see it like going there.
Yeah.
And to know that they're taking inspiration from some of this style of writing really excites me because we haven't really seen this story told in the Batman lore.
That's interesting.
On film.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like they're taking a different direction again on Batman, and I'm all for that. There's so much story and lore behind Batman. I mean, I've been reading about what's going on now, and it's crazy with the Batman Who Laughs, where the Joker's essence takes over the Batman's body in an alternate universe, but then that universe has a timeline on it, so that's about to decompose and just die off. And then another one where Bruce Wayne actually kills his own parents. And like, and he becomes the Robin King, a serial killer who kills other killers. Like,
nice. Well, so these are all like current comics.
These are all current storylines
that are going. Something else I heard. I don't know how true it is, but I heard DC's also gonna be scaling back their production of comic books, the actual physical copies of it. I think they're going to be trying to go more digital.
Well, it's all. I mean, I just bought the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles digital, and
you know what? For me, I don't like digital. I like even with books
to hold the physical copy.
I like holding the physical copy, and especially when it comes to comic books. I'm not a big fan of the digital, but I guess we're kind of running off on a tangent here. But anyway, we got some new Batman out there.
Awesome trailer. Definitely exceeded my expectations.
But we got a while for that comes out sometime in 2021. Hopefully not 2022. Who knows how life will tread on with this damn pandemic. But let's keep moving. Let's talk about the future of Marvel movies and some predictions. Now, I guess first up on the chopping block, it's actually not one of our Disney releases, but it's a Sony release. We're getting Morpheus, Ben?
I think so. It was delayed from June to March.
And I messed it up. It's actually Morbius.
Morbius.
I said the guy from The Matrix and not the evil vampire from Spider-Man. But we're getting Morbius with Jared Leto, right? And
Yeah,
that's the
March
first
2021.
Marvel movie we're going to be getting in 2021, coming out in March.
Now, do you think it's going to be incorporated with the rest of the movies, or no? This is going to be closer to Venom, right? Where
Dude,
it's in the.
I'm
the
nervous. Let me say this. I'm nervous because Venom wasn't that great. They're tying in all this Spider-Man stuff together. It could be a cool movie if it's standalone, but it definitely sounds like they're tying it up in this universe. I feel like Sony's trying to do a whole lot and not really taking time to develop stuff and just trying to did the same thing DC did with Justice League, is they're trying to catch up to Marvel and create this big cinematic universe with all these characters, but they're not doing the right thing by, taking their time and developing them.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. What do you think? Are you excited?
I actually think Morbius could be good. I like Jared Leto. I think that the character is awesome. Like you said, if it's a standalone, and they've already hinted in the trailer that Spider-Man's a wanted fugitive in there.
Yeah.
In that world. So how is it going to play out? Is this in the backdrop and, this is something else happening while that Spider-Man's going through his own drama? Or who knows? I from what I see, it kind of looks cool.
I'm hoping for this to be great, and I'm actually hoping for this to be great for the reason that I love when an actor does one of these comic book movies and it's a flop, and then they come back in a different role, and it's a freaking home run. We've seen this a couple times now.
Chris Evans, Fantastic Four.
Yeah, Green Lantern and Deadpool with Ryan Reynolds. We've seen it with Michael B. Jordan as Human Torch, and then Killmonger. So we could be saying Jared Leto, Joker, to Jared Leto, Morbius. And that would be really dope, I think. I agree. For an actor to have an iconic role in the comic book world under his belt after coming from a flop is probably a really cool achievement and something that they can, hang their hat on and be proud of, and wipe away that stain in their career. So for that reason, I'm excited about it. Here's the thing. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, but Sony has not done right. I mean, we've seen it with, what they did with Spider-Man 3. We've seen what they've done with
The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, countless other, adaptations where they're money hungry and they don't take the time to develop this stuff.
Well, they don't care about the lore and the story behind it.
Yeah, they don't care about the fans.
They know they got these characters that they can make money on. They just don't.
So for those reasons, I'm very hesitant. But are they starting this Sinister Six? That's what it seems like. Are Sony characters a part of it?
Jamie Foxx.
That's what it seems like. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of rumors going around. The only thing I'm really excited for in that rumor mill would be a Kraven the Hunter.
That'd be cool.
Series.
Yeah.
And what's interesting? You showed me something earlier. The actor who's in The Boys, he's also I guess, there's some fan-made content out there where, or maybe he said this on his Instagram, I'm not sure, fact check for yourself, but where he wants to be Kraven the Hunter, or fans want him to. Do you know the actor I'm talking about?
Yeah. Carl Urban?
Yes, there you go.
Because there was also a fan-made art of him as Wolverine.
Ooh, that could be cool.
So there were people that,
he's got the look for either.
I know that he said he wanted to be Kraven the Hunter. So I think that would be awesome.
See, that would be the one character that I would really hope Sony could get right, and introduce him into their world. Because how cool would it be to see this Kraven the Hunter character jumping through the city of New York City chasing Spider-Man? You know what I mean? That would be a lot of fun. And it's a risk that if they take and they do it well, they'll be really rewarded, I think. So that's where I'm excited from the Sony front. Other than that, they really got to prove something to me, because Venom really, despite me saying in this very podcast that I did enjoy it, in hindsight, it fell short of many expectations that I think fans had. Speaking of fans and things we love, Disney's been knocking it out the park, but unfortunately they've given us nothing this year in terms of Marvel superhero movies. And in fact, we have to wait until May of next year to get this Black Widow movie that was supposed to be out already.
It was supposed to be out last winter. or no,
February,
summer,
or no,
February.
Was it March?
I think it was March. I think it was supposed to
April,
be
maybe.
It was supposed to be released.
We're just gonna say every month out of the year. It was something,
Yeah.
It was supposed to be in the beginning of the lockdown. Then they pushed it back to what, like October?
Yes, this October, this month, and then they pushed it back. I think that this whole lockdown and what's happening has freaked studios out, and they want to take risks with video on demand, but I guess with
box
Tenet,
office, it's more money and get more guaranteed than the video on demand.
Yeah, they kind of look at the box. I guess there's no way to measure it accurately, the VOD.
Here's the thing, though. Tenet doesn't have the same draw as Marvel does.
No.
So if you put Black Widow on video on demand, people are going to buy it up for sure.
Yes, but I don't think Mulan also proved to them that it worked also. I think Mulan...
So then how did what was it, Trolls that did it?
Trolls did really well.
But was that just because that was the first
I feel
video
like it's
on demand?
Also because kids are home and parents are willing to spend $30.
And that was the first maybe video on demand
yeah.
thing we had during the pandemic. Everyone was hungry for something new, perhaps. I don't know. I think if they did it on video on demand, I mean, I paid probably up to $30 to see it in my home.
I might. Black Widow.
You
know what I would do?
Listen.
You know what I would do if it was me, you, and another friend, and we rented it for $10 each? Yes, then I would do it.
Yeah.
But if I'm sitting at home by myself, I'm not gonna. I don't know if I could justify like Black Widow for $30. I might just wait an extra 6 months and get it for free on Disney Plus.
Are you sure? What if I told you that the Easter egg or the end credit scene at the end of Black Widow was something so huge that it'd be worth the $30 to you?
I'd YouTube it.
You bastard.
Or ruin it for myself on Wikipedia.
You bastard. All right. Let's talk about some other Marvel movies in the near future, Ben. What do you got?
I'm actually excited for this. Eternals just finished filming. It's actually coming out before I don't understand this. They say it's coming out before Black Widow, but who knows? This might be just a preliminary
they pushed it back
date.
again, I think.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
It got pushed back again to...
Yeah, so Eternals is coming later in 2021.
Yeah, November 2021. Oh, sorry. But that, I heard, is supposed to reveal or at least hint at the big baddie of Phase 4.
Okay.
That
which
if
we're
seeing,
guessing is Galactus?
They're theorizing that it's either Galactus is going to be the major big baddie or the Skrulls are going to be the major big baddie.
Yeah, I'm not that excited for this, only because it's very confusing to me. The whole Eternals thing,
I think
and what they are,
develop
and everything
into a
going
bigger
on.
storyline.
And what I have heard a rumor is this might be the introduction to mutants into the MCU. Again, listen, Marvel has done a great job, or Disney has done a great job of taking complex stories or characters and translating it to a film in a way that I think, the common man like me could understand. Case in point, Ego. I think they did a great job explaining this like living planet in a way that was like understandable to an audience that has no idea what the hell any of this all means. Mm-hmm. It was a cool concept too, the liberties that they took with it. So maybe they can clear all this up, and then when they a little parched. And when they tie it into all the mutant stuff and the X-Men, that's going to be really exciting. Until then, I'm kind of like, let's see what it's about. Celestials, people living among us that have these powers but don't use them, and all this stuff has been going on in the background. I don't know. It's real murky, real muddy. It's very unclear to me. Maybe I'm just dumb. Maybe it's just very smart writing.
I think that they've also kept it under wrap. I think that I feel like we're going to get a broader picture of which direction they're going to go with this movie. So that's a movie, if they were offering $30 on, I would pay for.
Really? So you would pay $30 for Eternals and not Black Widow?
Yes.
Jeez,
because
I'm
I don't
opposite.
know, Black Widow just didn't seem. I feel like Black Widow's story was done. You're going to come out with a movie about a character who just died in the film before it?
But that's the thing. Maybe it's not done. Maybe it wasn't even Black Widow who died. Maybe, well, I don't know. That's kind of far-fetched. But maybe there's something that happened in the in-between time that we didn't see her in any of these movies that's imperative to the future of whatever direction all this is going.
Yeah, I'm still more excited about Eternals. I want to see something new. I want to see new direction going.
Yeah, we're getting
more characters.
Some cool new characters that are being introduced in this, though, as well, right?
Yeah, the guy from Jon Snow from Game of Thrones is playing Black Knight.
Kit Harington, right? That's his name?
Kit Harington.
Yeah. Black Knight, I think, was an Avenger in the comics at a point. Basically, he's this, like, medieval knight dude, right?
Yeah.
Again, another reason why this film is just kind of real murky to me, because it's like, I don't know. It's weird characters and just weird stories, but they're probably gonna do a great job at telling it. And then I'm gonna come back and we'll record a podcast with you and say how awesome it was and how much I loved it. So, what is this? Harry Styles.
Harry Styles is in it. I thought that he was another character, but I couldn't confirm it. So
okay. So they're just throwing him on anything nowadays. Cover of Vogue magazine, the Eternals.
Man, you would have think that. Yeah, Eternals.
All right. But moving on, we also got some other cool rumors and predictions. Let's talk first about Captain Marvel 2 and the rumor and prediction, because this is cool. And this is where I'm going to get super excited and really pep up.
Actually, I think it's been confirmed that Rogue is going to be the villain in Captain Marvel 2.
This ain't Cajun country, hun. Zip those lips.
Now, we've talked about this before, that a lot of people are not happy. They were not thrilled with Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. That's why.
Let me stop you there. Yeah, honestly, Captain Marvel was not one of my top any movie of Marvel at all. It was okay at best. It was unnecessary. Honestly, I thought I didn't need her. With the exception of her destroying those big spaceships at the end of Endgame,
saving Captain Iron Man.
Yeah, really... I don't really see any other need for her. We could have the Guardians save Iron Man. We could have someone else. I'm not a hater of her. It wasn't my favorite. But the storyline in the comics is someone takes her abilities with an ability,
puts her in a coma.
And then that's how she gets her ability of flight. We're talking about Rogue, and this is awesome to me.
She's in Brotherhood of the Mutants when she fights Captain Marvel. So I wonder if maybe that will then introduce the Brotherhood of Mutants, who, of course, is run by Magneto.
So to back up, Rogue somehow, some way fucks up Captain Marvel, kills her,
puts her in a coma,
but takes her ability
all of her
of
powers
flight,
and her memory.
Of strength. And now basically Rogue can not only absorb mutants' abilities, but now she has all of Captain Marvel's abilities.
What I think happens in the comics, and I was reading up on it, is that Rogue has Carol Danvers' memories in her head. And it starts because she's bad at that point. She hates humans. She follows the mantra of the Brotherhood of Mutants to the T, that mutants should be the dominant species. Now, with Carol Danvers' memory, she's unable to distinct what is her own mind and what Carol's thoughts are, and basically goes to Xavier, who helps
to help clear her mind,
and formulate her own thoughts, and learns about humanity and what it's like to have these powers as a gift. And that would be interesting to see. I'd be fascinated to see who they pick to play Rogue.
Yeah. Well, this is where I'm getting really excited, because I hope that this is what they do for all the X-Men, or a good chunk of them, is introduce them individually, and have Xavier be the key thing that keeps connecting them until we finally get the X-Men movie. You know what I mean? Definitely do that for Logan, for Wolverine. Do that for Storm. Perhaps introduce her in Black Panther 2.
That would be awesome.
You know, something like that. I don't know, like connect them all like loosely, and then have one, you know, obviously Charles will come in at the end of all these cameos or movies or whatever happens, and he's the connection. Obviously that's where it's going to go. But, you know, start off with Rogue, then we go to the next one and the next one. And so we have about 4 of these under our belt, and then all of a sudden, boom.
We have the X-Men.
Another rumor of a storyline that I heard is where they're going to take the X-Men and maybe even start out here is with the Savage Land story. So this is another way that they can connect some of these characters. You know, maybe Wolverine, the character Logan, doesn't have his memory. He's just some beast in the woods of the Savage Land, in the jungle rather. You know what I mean? Or Storm, perhaps. There's different possibilities that they could take with the Savage
character
Land
that they have, yeah.
And, you know, they're going to introduce maybe Sauron, perhaps. How awesome would that be?
Oh, that'd
and
be
maybe
great.
even Mr. Sinister.
Yeah.
Who knows? Like, all of these little rumors and predictions, every little thing that I keep hearing, I'm like, oh my God, if they keep going in this direction, we're going to start seeing some of these, like, classic comic books come to life, or some of these favorite episodes of the classic animated shows start coming to life on the big screen.
It makes me want to see Captain Marvel 2 now. Just if they knowing that Rogue's going to be.
And knowing that there's a potential for these characters to start out as villains is really exciting, I think. So that's really cool. So those are all really fun, cool things that the X-Men, Marvel are all gearing up toward. But, you know, that's very far away in the future. I mean, we're talking, what, 2024?
2022, 2023?
I think that's even a little earlier.
2024, yeah.
Because they would already be on the slate of upcoming releases, you know, and these aren't. So,
know what I did read that sounds pretty cool, and I guess I don't know if this is confirmed. You know how Stan Lee was in every episode, every movie?
Yeah.
As like I said, I heard that Deadpool will be
the new cameo.
That
could be
like
fun.
You'll see Deadpool randomly throughout every.
Yeah. And then this is going to be what, like, his connection to the Disney universe, because Disney probably won't really make a Deadpool movie.
Deadpool that involves the MCU.
Yeah, I mean they'll leave Deadpool over at Fox and not bring him over to the cookie cutter side of Disney, I don't think. But this could be a cute little way to, like, pay homage to him or incorporate him, and that could be funny.
It would be cool if they did like a Where's Waldo thing where it's not so obvious, like with Stan Lee.
Yeah.
But he's in the background somewhere.
That's what I was going to say, because you don't want to take away from the serious tone of a film.
No.
But if he's randomly in the background as like an extra,
like walking
just
down
walking,
the street, like, you know, they're in the stadium
I
and
can see that.
Deadpool's
That
sitting
could
in
be
the
fun.
stadium, like watching, and like he's holding up a sign or something.
That could
would
be really
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
I like that idea. Let's see. If not, do you think they'll still incorporate Stan some way in all these movies? I mean, they have so far. There was 2. Wasn't he on the side of a building in?
Yeah, in the new Spider-Man, Far From Home.
Was that what it was?
Yeah,
in
I thought
the
that
new
they had
Spider-Man
his picture.
Yeah, it was like he was graffitied, or
he was graffitied onto
on the
wall.
side of a wall, or an advertising or something.
And I
like
guess
that.
we'll see on Black Widow if he's in that too.
Yeah, I think you got to keep Stan somehow, some way. I don't know. What do you think? No?
No, I agree with that. Maybe if you don't do like where you hint him somewhere in the background.
You could do that too, where he's in the background, like some random guy wearing a sweater and glasses, like, you know, the Stan Lee costume look,
like the cosplay. I feel like if you CGI'd him in, like,
no, I wouldn't want that.
You're gonna get fan outrage from some people. Who see that. Yeah,
I wouldn't want that. Speaking of CGIing into things, I think it was recently announced that they will not be doing that with Chadwick Boseman for Black Panther 2.
Good.
The director said that, and obviously, I think a lot of people feel that way. But now the question becomes, well, who takes the mantle
Shuri.
of Black Panther? Now, that was one of the things that I think was obvious, right? You pass it on to her. She's a very likable character. She was really funny and entertaining in Black Panther 1 as well as Endgame. But now, riddle me this. What if, and I heard this online, is what if the mantle of the Black Panther is much like the mantle of James Bond, where, yes, Chadwick, hit a grand slam out of the park and is iconic for that role, but the Black Panther character still lives on, where different actors come in and play him and take up the mantle, and maybe every 5-6 years maybe it's
all be
someone new.
T'Challa? Would it be T'Challa, like by name? Like it would play the same character but just a different actor?
I mean, James Bond is still 007, right? It's the same name, just different actor.
There are no other movies that interact with James Bond. That's the thing. Like, how would you?
Well, and then the other argument was, well, what about Rhodey and Iron Man?
That would be cool.
Well, no. I'm saying that they filled the role.
Oh yeah, but they filled the role for one movie, and that was it. Not like every movie they pick someone else.
Oh, you're saying because Chadwick was too much in this MCU?
He's invested
because
too much in the MCU.
He has his own movie. He was in Civil War. He was in Infinity War and in Endgame. That you can't just replace him.
I think
with a different actor.
If he was like in just one movie, that would be fine. But I feel like they'll have to write off the T'Challa character. Now, I'm actually thinking as we're talking about this, what about Nakia, played by Lupita Nyong'o?
Okay.
It could be one of those female. It doesn't necessarily have to be Shuri, because Shuri does play a great like you're talking about James Bond, like Q character, who like. What if it was one of those other strong women presence? Like, because I can see like his general Okia like taking over the mantle. Or, if you want to keep it as a guy, although everyone's going to say make M'Baku the next Black Panther.
Or a lot of people are saying make Killmonger the new Black Panther, maybe bring him back somehow.
But didn't he die at the end of Black Panther 1?
Yeah, but didn't Black Panther die in Black Panther 1? Come on.
All right, yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Because here's the thing. Michael B. Jordan's already a lovable actor.
Yes.
He's already affiliated with the movie and the role. He
is the next heir to the throne.
He was friends with Chadwick, I believe. And, technically he is the next heir to the throne. So... And maybe he becomes good. He saw the error of his ways. What do you think with that?
I can
like
go. Yeah, I can go with that.
I guess either way, it's not going to feel quite whole. It's not going to feel like, oh, damn. You're going to be like...
Those are big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman's
presence in that movie.
That was such a surprise.
Yeah.
That was like when I looked at 2020 and I was like, you know what? The hell with this year.
Yeah.
You take Chadwick, now you take Sean Connery. Like, like there's many, like, the hell with 2020.
All right. Well, now to the point in the podcast where we actually talk about the one comic movie that we did get this year.
You loved it, apparently, right?
Oh, God, no. Here's the thing. Honestly, I wanted to love this movie, right? I went in with high hopes. There was a lot of rumors online. There was a lot of reshoots for this movie. It was supposed to be out probably, 2 years ago?
It was supposed to come out when Dark Phoenix was supposed to come out, right? Like before Dark Phoenix.
They were talking about this is Marvel's first horror movie, all this and that. And again, throughout it all, I kept high hopes for the movie until I finally saw it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the only comic book movie I think we got this year, The New Mutants. Oh, what a turd.
I haven't watched it, but I'm very disappointed to hear this.
Honestly, man, they were so lazy with the script. The writing, terrible. The choices, terrible. Actors, some of them were okay. I don't know. It just fell short every which way imaginable. Every time that the movie had potential to be kind of good, or like you're like, oh my god, this is interesting, it just falls flat. It falls
sucks.
really flat.
Well, I mean, it was in developmental hell for a while. They rewrote scripts, like you said, multiple times. They didn't know what direction they were going with. Like, I saw a horror trailer, but then I saw an action trailer cut, and I was like, well, which is it? Is it a horror movie, an action movie? Like, you're not giving me anything. It was just, when you confuse fans going into it like that, you're not really setting yourself up for success.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't know what direction it wanted to go in, blah, 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 blah. Story of a character, Moonstar, Danielle Moonstar. Basically, she wakes up in a facility with these other people with abilities. Because the whole time, things aren't very clear what's going on as I'm watching it. It's kind of like, all right, I kind of get what's going on. There's this event that happens. It seems like there's a monster attacking her. She wakes up in a hospital. There's a doctor who's kind of taking care of her and asking her questions, but you're not really even sure about this freaking doctor. Then you meet these other cast of characters, and you know, some of them you kind of recognize. Like, we got Cannonball. So that was cool. We had the character Cannonball.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, this is gonna be cool. And it's the guy who was in what's that show on Netflix? Stranger Things. Yeah. And I liked him in that. And honestly, he's not the worst part of this movie. He's kind of some of the moments I enjoy, but very briefly. I mean, when they're showing his abilities, it's really fun and cool. There's this one scene where he's I guess he's trying to get out his energy, you know? So he like ties himself up by a chain to a cinder block, and he just starts like flying around in the air like as a cannibal and knocking against shit. And then
crazy.
they make a joke that most of the time he just hurts himself. You know, you wonder if he's like practicing or he's doing it to like hurt himself. So again, the movie doesn't know like if it's taking like these like serious tones or like
It goes into
jokey,
slapstick comedy.
like just like, oh, is he? Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, and then they have the magic character who, oh God, this annoyed me so much because in the comic books, she has this the dragon. I don't know if you ever seen that little purple dragon. Sometimes it's with I think Shadowcat, but I think it's a lot. This chick Magic has her. So in the comic book, she has this like purple dragon that flies and has abilities and its own shit. I don't know. I'm not big into the whole magic lore, but in the movie, you know, she's in this facility. I don't know. Is it a psycho ward? Is it a, you know, mental health clinic? Is it a, you don't really, you know, it's very loose. But anyway, her dragon is a puppet that she pulls out every once in a while, and I'm like, oh, really? That's what you're gonna? And I'm like, okay, I get. You know what? At first, I was kind of like, this is kind of cutesy for, you know, she's in if this is a mental illness facility and this is her like
Her alternate personality.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I kind of like that they're touching on this subject, but they kind of never really go anywhere with it, other than she has this thing, and then eventually in the movie, when it comes time to fight the villain, which I'll get to later in a minute, the puppet turns into an animated CGI flying dragon that has abilities and fights the villain. Again, if it sounds confusing and weird to you, it's because it kind of is. It's so weird.
So the puppet she kept in her pocket as a representation of this dragon was actually a dragon, but it was presenting itself as a puppet?
Yeah, because it's only activated when she activates her ability, which is... Jesus Christ.
You sound exhausted just trying to explain it.
Just watch the movie. Yeah. She has a sword and she goes into this alternate reality of this world. And I'm sure if you Wikipedia her stuff, it sounds way cooler. Something that probably translates better in comics than it does in actual film. But anyway,
it was a device that they probably should have rethought when they came up with it.
Yeah, I guess perhaps.
Yeah.
And anyway, just again, the movie just kind of is all over the place and falls all over the place. So now let's go back to the Moonstar character. Now, what I thought her ability was is because what's happening is some of these people, they don't know, they're just developing their abilities. Some of them know what there are. In the case of this Moonstar girl, she doesn't know what her ability is, but these people know in this facility that she has it.
powers. Yeah.
Now, this is where my mind says, okay, I see the original direction that they were going with this, but then they kind of veer away from it. Because what it seems like to me is this. I thought this chick's ability was she creates nightmares in other people's minds and or just these figments of their imagination, these nightmare scenarios that are very realistic, like because it could kill you sort of thing. Because there's scenes that all these characters, the Cannonball character, I think the Sunspot character, have to relive basically like their worst fears, their worst moments. They have these like out of body experiences or these nightmares where they see these things in front of them, and then these things can actually harm them. In the case of Sunspot, I guess his scenario was much like Rogue. He had a relationship where when his ability manifested itself, it ended up hurting his significant other, and his ability is basically the power of the sun. He's like, so he lit his girlfriend on fire.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So when he's having his bad trip or his nightmare scene, he's reliving that moment. It's a dead body that's on fire going after him, like chasing him.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh shit, now I see the horror angle that they were going after. So if they would have just did the whole movie of this girl's in the facility, they don't know what her power is, they're trying to figure out her power, but in the meantime, she's fucking everything up in the facility, and the movie is she's the villain, but she doesn't know she's the villain.
Okay, so Magic is the main villain in the movie.
No. She's just another. No, I'm not talking about Magic. That was talking about.
Oh,
Moonstar.
You're talking about Moonstar.
Moonstar, yeah, that's the main character of this. That's
okay.
Moonstar. Magic is just another person in
so
the facility.
So Moonstar, is basically the main villain, but no one really knows that she's the main villain.
Yes, but not for necessarily the reasons that I explained. Yes and no. She also creates this. This is where it gets stupid. This energy force, this psychic energy that's manifests into the shape of a giant bear. And the giant bear is the thing that they have to destroy at the end because her ability has gotten out of control, Dark Phoenix style, where she can't control it. And now they have to fight this giant CGI bear, much like Suicide Squad having to fight some CGI storm cloud or whatever.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it felt like to me.
Was the CGI bear at least cool, or was it really terrible CGI?
By that point, the movie just lost me. It was the end of the movie, and so then, in the beginning of the movie, I said to you that she has this scenario where something comes and destroys her whole town, and and then she wakes up in the facility. Well,
and
she was the thing that created, and that's the whole fuck. That's the there you go.
That's the turn.
And that's the movie, and that's the turn, and that's what you get with the movie. And now here's the one cool part of the movie that did excite me. And again, they throw this in there, and you think it's going to be awesome, and then it just goes like absolutely nowhere. So at a point in the movie, the kids are talking about, well, who do you think the doctor? She keeps referencing her superior. She goes, I have to report to my superior, or my superior won't like this, blah, blah, blah. And the kids are joking at one point, like, well, who do you think the superior is? And one of them does, puts his hand by his temple and he goes, who do you think? And they refer to Professor X.
Professor X, yeah.
So you're thinking that, this facility is run by Professor X, and these kids basically don't have this is a place they go and they don't have their abilities under control yet before they go live in the X mansion. You know what I mean? That's kind of what you're thinking. Then toward the end of the film, after they find out that this doctor is not on the up and up and everything, and that this doctor tries killing the Moonstar character because her abilities are going out of control, Oh, I forgot to leave this part out, but because the Moonstar character has this lesbian relationship with one of the other characters, this Maisie Williams character, basically she's like this little fuzzy wolf girl, Wolfbane maybe. Wolfbane hides in the the ceiling ducts and then sees that the doctor's trying to kill Moonstar and tries to save her. So now we know the doctor's bad. And then all the kids try to kill the doctor. Yeah. So anyway, at one point, the doctor tries to take a bunch of vials of stuff in a briefcase. And on the briefcase, this is the only reason why you might want to watch this movie for this moment, because on the briefcase, it said Essex Corp. So if you remember in Apocalypse, that scene when they're at the Weapon X facility and Wolverine breaks out, I believe there's some equipment or some vials that say Essex Corp on there. And we know that Essex Corp is this mock corporation that's run by none other than Mr. Sinister, who's basically trying to create a army of weapons.
Mutants.
Yeah. And here we go. Here's the direction where the movie can be awesome, and maybe Mr. Sinister might show up at the very end, maybe in a teaser scene,
even a hint scene,
or they just go somewhere with it. Nope, that's it. You just see Essex Corp on the briefcase that this doctor's trying to escape these mutants, and that's it. And that's where it goes, and you then see a big CGI bear.
Well, we know that there's not going to be any follow-up on that because that was technically the last movie
of the Fox X-Men stuff. So what sucks is that they had potential. It definitely got my attention at one point with the Mr. Sinister's tease, and then it just kind of you were like, this is really the best they could come up with, script-wise, story direction, I don't know, man. It just sucked, and it was such a disappointment.
It was an unloved child.
But that's what everyone said it was going to be. They didn't even want to release this movie because it was that bad. And honestly, it kind of was that bad. I hate to say.
Wow, that sucks. Because I actually was excited for the first trailer that came out. I thought we were going to be getting our first comic horror film from Marvel.
Yeah. But anyway, so much like this year, that's what we got, a turd of a movie. And that's 2020 for you, kids.
That's 2020, baby.
Yeah, that's life.
That's life.
So I guess with that, we should conclude right here. Folks, go out, watch The Mandalorian. It's great. Mm-hmm. We got some good stuff to look forward to in the near future from Disney+. We still got a little ways away to go for some Marvel stuff in film, but we got some DC stuff coming just around the bend. And if you want to waste an hour and a half of your time, watch The New Mutants.
I mean, I might watch it at work on Sunday or Saturday. I got nothing else to do, and it's only $6. So, I mean, I don't know. Is it worth the $6? No.
Yeah. If you find the change for it between the couch cushions.
All right, I'm gonna go rummage in my basement. Maybe see if there's any loose change in my dryer.
All right, folks, and with that concludes this episode of the Infinite Universe podcast. Just remember, although we may be assholes, we are not 100% dicks. I'm J-Days.
I'm Ben Metlis.
And until next time, we're saying peace.
Peace.